So I think recording has started. So yeah, let's make a start then. So yeah, hi everybody. Welcome to the Welsh Azure user group, 18th of September 2024. Thank you so much for joining. As per usual, good lineup for you tonight. Just had a nice chat with Radu and Carlos before we start the session. So looking forward to tonight. But just a bit of housekeeping and a few thank yous before we jump into the sessions. Uh, as per usual, this is a community user group, so this session is set up for you. And obviously, we're always open to ideas or thoughts, or if you want to submit talks, if you want to give us some advice, if you want to give us some ideas, feel free to reach out to either myself or Matt. There's our LinkedIn addresses there. We're also on X or Twitter. Still got the old logo there. I'll have to update that. But yeah, feel free to reach out. It's a community user group. Like I say, it's for the community. So we're always open to ideas and topic ideas or particular areas of interest, obviously, in and around the wonderful world of Azure. And tonight is no different then. So just in with regards to tonight, to meet the speakers, we've got Radu joining us all the way from Transylvania tonight to talk to us around the reference architecture of AI in the cloud, which is obviously on point for all our lives at the moment. I don't think anybody can have too much AI in their life, especially if you work at Microsoft. It's certainly a topic of constant talk. So really looking forward to Radu's session that we'll be picking off with first and foremost, and then Carlos will be joining us all the way from Panama. So like we were just saying, then a truly global event for tonight, which is great. The Welsh Azure Use Group. Carlos is going to be on talking to us around Azure Arc and pushing those boundaries of management and security. So hopefully, like I was saying, two quite um, strangely complementing technologies, maybe using Arc to bring your on-prem world into the cloud and consume some of that AI goodness. So, like I say, two really good talks from the two guys tonight. Timings wise, usual kind of timings. I'll be quiet and stop talking very soon, just after I've done some other bits and pieces. Radu will be joining us first to talk about AI in the cloud and that reference architecture. Carlos, around about 7:30 p.m. BST, will be joining to do his session. And then, as per usual, we've got the quiz as well, round about 8:15, something like that. Everybody is more than welcome to join the quiz. And we've normally got some really good prizes. We've got a couple of Amazon gift vouchers to give away, ironically, and a couple of packet ebooks as well. I'll grab the titles during one of the talks now, so I'll let you know what titles we got to give away tonight. So yeah, roughly speaking, around about 8:30, we should be coming to an end to get your timings right. A couple of housekeeping rules. Always the same. Please, everybody, do be courteous to each other. This is we're here to learn, educate, have a little bit of fun, do a little bit of networking. There are no silly questions. That's the entirety and the real purpose why we're here. Two fantastic speakers have given up their time to educate us in the areas that they are familiar with. So, really good chance to ask the silly questions, to get the answers to them. As usual, please do stay on mute unless you're invited to come off. There's nothing worse than having a dog bark or somebody mumbling away whilst the speakers are trying to get through their session. That'd be really, really appreciated. But please do feel free to come off if you're invited to come off and ask a specific question, or use the chat window. You've got access to the chat. Feel free to drop your questions in there, and the speakers can get round to answering them for you either during or at the end of their talks. We will drop a QR code and a link at the end of the sessions. Just if you do get a chance, be really grateful to give a little bit of feedback. Join the quiz. Really looking forward to that. A couple of prizes, but more importantly, be interactive and enjoy these sessions. Um, okay, last thing before we jump in, just want to say a quick few thank yous to our sponsors. Servant have been around since day one for us at the Welsh Shore User Group. Really good support. We've got Des and the team. They're an Azure pure play Azure consultancy firm. So, here in the UK, headquartered up in Glasgow in Scotland. So, big shout out, like I say, to Servant with Des and the team for obviously supporting the user group for this long. It's actually, I was saying to the guys, it's actually our 4-year anniversary this month. So, you've come at an appropriate time. I should have got some balloons out or something, but I've not done that. Yeah, so there's a little bit about Servant. If you are in that space, reach out to the guys. Really good consultancy. I've worked with them a good few times now. Great bunch, good team they've got there. Next up, CreditSafe. Really fortunate to get a local headquartered company down in Cardiff, South Wales, to come on board and again do the same kind of support to the user group. We've had the CreditSafe team on and talk about their multi-cloud journey over previous sessions. Just to kind of know a little bit about CreditSafe. But like I say, the main kind of point for us with CreditSafe coming on board is that really good locally headquartered business in South Wales to kind of help us spread that word around really with what we're doing here at the Welsh Azure user group. So huge thanks as per usual to CreditSafe, and last but by no means least, big shout out to Packet. And again, I keep saying they're fairly recent, but it's got to be about 6 or 7 months now. The guys at Packet have been involved, and they've been really generous in donating, like I say, ebooks and things like that to give out as spot prizes. So really good range and selection. I really didn't realise that they were kind of started up in the Midlands here in the UK as a company. So really big thanks to all our sponsors. Really is appreciated. Kind of helps oil the wheels and keep these user groups running. But back to tonight. So big shout out to Radu and Carlos for both giving up their time and joining us tonight. Really excited to just jump straight in. And on that note, I think I'm done. And I'll hand you straight over to Radu to introduce himself.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. If you're watching a recording, I don't know exactly what time it is, but it's a good time to talk about AI. And nowadays, if we look around, everywhere is AI, AI is AI. It might be a big bubble, might not be. We will know more exactly in 1 or 2 years. But it's funny how nowadays, I think that most of us, if we're looking for something, we don't Google it anymore. We check GPT or with other bots available on the market. You can also have some fun with them, as you can see on the screen. It's not something a big wow, but usually before going to sleep, if I'm not able to go to sleep easy, I start just to play with GPT and see what I can get from him and what are the limitations, because they don't allow you fully to do or to ask anything. Especially if you're touching things like healthcare and medical devices, for example, they will say, oh no, sorry, you need to go to ask for an opinion somewhere else. Okay, good. So what is our plan for today? For the next 40 minutes, we'll talk about AI. I will not talk about AI, how we can build a solution on AI and things like that. No. I would like to talk about something more important, or a thing that I expect to be more relevant for people that have a technical background, like, for example, cloud infrastructure, DevOps, people that are building and are designing systems. It's about how and what are the things that you need to consider to build a system that is ready for AI. Because the truth is that if you don't align your storage, your data, your infrastructure, your computation layer, it will be pretty hard when you plug an AI solution to be able to handle all the load, all the things that are behind the scene and so on. It's pretty hard. So this is what I would like to talk today. I'm Radu Vunvulea. Nice meeting you. I'm based in the heart of Transylvania, in a city called Cluj-Napoca, in Romania. I'm part of Endava. I'm not anymore group head of cloud. My title changed, but my day-to-day activities remain the same. I'm VP of cloud, but this is not very relevant. What I think is more relevant here, from 2009, I started my journey on Microsoft Azure. I would say that around 95% of my time, I had my hands in the cloud, in Azure, and in AWS. In different industries, I hit a lot of walls, and I'm still doing this. And I really enjoy how things evolve. And I'm looking forward to see how AI and how private cloud will change the way how we are designing, building, and running solutions. If you have any kind of question during the session, feel free to drop them in the chat. I usually use only one monitor, but today I'm doing an exception. My wife also gives me her working desk, so I have two monitors and I see pretty easily any kind of comments uh, that you might have, questions or opinions and so on. There's no wrong question, and the and everything that you will see is just my personal view, opinion, and there's a lot of things that could be done better. So, what is our mission for today? Is to take a look on how cloud architecture should look like of an AI system, and before that, what are the things that we need to consider? What are the things that are relevant and are important? I will not start to talk about statistical information. We already know where we are. We already know the slice of the market that the AI has and the potential. Uh, I think that there's not. I think that every 10 minutes at least we interact directly or indirectly with an AI system, email, Netflix, when are looking for information or are scrolling on Facebook or Instagram. There are some AI algorithms behind the scene. Something more interesting that happened a few months ago is the moment in time when Microsoft did to extend their OpenAI solution and to run it also on top of Oracle. I remember when this announcement was done, there were a lot of questions, oh, why they're doing this? Because especially in the Middle East, for example, Oracle Cloud, OT, and Microsoft Azure are neck by neck, so there's a high competition. Nevertheless, if you want to build the next generation of AI platform and you want a big slice of the market, you need to realize, as I would say, Microsoft realized that it's not so easy to have a physical presence in all the countries, especially from the regulation points of view and so on. So this joint venture with Oracle from the open AI perspective, I think that is a very, very smart move, but also show to us how important for any kind of solution we have, AI or non-AI and so on, to understand the market, what we are aiming, and what are the things that we need to do to be able to achieve them. 5 main topics that I have on my agenda. What are the key success when we're talking about AI and infrastructure, and what are the limitations that we need to consider? A very short high-level overview of specific AI ML services, just to understand the complexity that where we are already. How a landing zone should look like, and some, I would say, tips and tricks from the modernization. And let's start with the first one. What are the limitations of an AI and the challenges when you're running it on top of cloud? 3 main areas: data privacy and security, ethical consideration, and the bias of AI, and also the technical limitation because of the high complexity. We talk about volume and sensitive data, and what is happening with the data, where you're storing, where it will end up, who will have access to it. Are you using an AI that is giving you the full secure sandbox environment and it will not learn from the content or not? All the cybersecurity threats that are coming, because it's like, for example, sharing a file. Who will have access to it? What they will be able to do? And this can become very tricky when you're playing with the roles, with access identity and access management. And one of the things that I consider a nightmare is this one, because I'm still working with customers that don't have the right governance layer on top of a basic thing like access management. Once they plug an AI system and they provide through OpenAI or any other kind of AI console, things will become a nightmare, because you don't want to end up in a situation where, for example, Somebody from the technical department would have access to financial numbers, to contracts, and so on. So very easily you can end up in a nightmare. What kind of data you're training and everything related to the untreated bias in AI algorithm, and what is the level of transparency and explainability. And making the full process is a challenge. From the technical point of view, we talk about intensive computation. Just being on Google on Bing, ask ChatGPT to see what is the percent of computation that is used at this moment in time to run AI solution. It's crazy. And if you think that most of them are provided for free to end customers, more or less, it's crazy. I'm saying for free because they are selling your information or giving you different ads and so on. And what is the complexity when you're talking about integration? What kind of system you need to integrate, how you're processing the data, how you're collecting them, and so on. It's a very big chunk of data. The second two things that are also are very relevant: human workforce and job displacement, and also regulatory compliance and legal challenges. And let's talk a little bit of this one, because we already heard on the market AI will replace different jobs and replace people. But let's go back 120 years ago, when we used to have people that were going on the streets to light the lights, to start the lights, or in the morning to hit the glasses with small piece of stones to wake you up. In the end, it's just an evolution, because new opportunities will rise up. Now, what are the key of success when you're putting an AI system on top of cloud? What you need to consider? In most of the cases, what I hear is you need to have the best AI system. You just put a model, you train the model, you're plugging the data, and we are happy. Everything is good. Not really. Personally, I see that the key for a successful AI system is not only the AI that you need to use or you want to use. It also, what is the journey of cloud application modernization that you're doing behind the scene? What you are doing to ensure that AI system have everything that he needs to be able to run and to provide input to the systems that you are connecting, you are helping, and so on. On the other side, we are talking about scalability. We are talking about cost and FinOps, where things can go very, very crazy if you are not ready to plug an AI system that will need a lot of power, a lot of access to data, and so on. Because in the cloud, the most easy thing is just to allocate more resources, more resources, more resources. And when you go in that cycle, you are forgetting about modernization. Maybe there's the case, or there's a good moment in time to replace a system with something else, or to think about, okay, how I'm storing the data, what kind of data lake solution I would like to use, and so on. All these kind of things needs to be tackled. And ideally, this should be tackled before or at the moment in time when you're starting to embrace an AI solution. One important thing here is how your system would scale up, and what are the performance, and what are in the end, the technical KPI that the system can provide. Do you have an auto scaling that is really working? Are you scaling the right services to the right tier automatically? where you want to run your AI workloads, what you would do to make them to run efficiently to avoid high running costs. The second thing for a success AI story is data integration and management, especially because modern cloud solutions offer advanced data integration capabilities. And when you're talking about an AI system depends on large volume of data that access them from various places. And in the end, you need that integration layer that can provide the full access to to everything. And in the end, if you go with an approach where you use a good warehouse or good data lake solution, especially if you go with a cloud native one, you have that layer of storing the data and exposing the data to the AI solution, where you don't need to focus anymore about integration, about scalability, how you get access, and how to provide access to different resources. Flexibility and agility. I would say in one word, DevOps culture. It's very, very important because when you want to be able to provide new services, new features, you need to be very, very flexible. And what I mean by that, it's not about only, let's say, the DORA metrics and about how easy you go live. Also, we are talking about what kind of environment for development, for testing, for sandbox you can provide to the technical team that is building the solution and to your, let's call it AI, data scientist, data team, and so on, that are basically optimizing the model and making the AI solution that you're using much closer to your own needs. And also, you need to be ready to use pre-built AI services because we are not at the moment in time. Maybe I would say 7-8 years ago, or a moment now when you say, "Oh, I'm building an AI solution from scratch. I'm doing the full training of the model by myself." No. We are not anymore in that place. Training a model, I would say it would be almost impossible. The level of the CPUs and data that you need to starting from scratch, it's crazy. There are already pre-trained model that you customize, and in the end, you are building an ecosystem, not only for your end customers, but also for your development teams, where they can build, they can test, they can have a journey that is aligned with the business needs. Also, there are other aspects like security and compliance, cost efficiency, real-time analytics, and insights and interoperability. I want to focus on only two things here: is policy enforcement. That is mega important. As I said, when you expose data through a smart system, you need to be sure that the people that have access to it are the right people that would have access also to data, or to ensure that that AI console that they're accessing can make difference between a person that can see financial numbers and, let's say, somebody from the technical team that might look only for some documentation or some internal policies and so on. And it's not easy. We have the tools, we have the platform to be able to do that, but it costs time, effort, and willing. And it is something that we need to consider. And the second thing that is also important, it seems that my pen doesn't work anymore. I don't know why. Sorry, forgot. It is real-time analytics and insights. Traceability, in one word, I would say that is the key word. We need traceability to be able to identify if and how somebody got access to information that they didn't that was not intended for them, because to be able to react, to understand, we need to replicate. It is exactly like in a classical solution, where to be able to replicate, we need to know exactly what happened behind the scene. Okay, let's go forward. There are a lot of services that Microsoft is providing. I will not go over them. What I want here, just to be sure that I'm highlighting, is what is the key difference between OpenAI and, one second, I'm drawing a lot and it's very annoying that the pen is not working, is between the Azure OpenAI and ML, Azure ML. If you're a developer or technical person that don't have any kind of AI background, but still the team needs to build something or needs to build an AI solution, OpenAI is the perfect one because it comes with pre-trained language models. You have a very nice APIs. There's no training required. You just plug your data, you are getting outcome, and very good outcomes, I would say. ML is when you want to do some training, some optimization. You want to deploy the model, you want to play with the ML ops and the pipelines. You want to have more control and to have more customization. What is the biggest difference between these two is that on Azure OpenAI, I would say that in around 80, not or maybe even 90% of the business line of business application cases, OpenAI is more than enough. But for the 10-20% of the cases, Azure ML is the best solution or one of the solutions that you have. Nevertheless, to be able to do that ML part, you need people that understand how ML is working, how to train a model, how to understand the data, how you process the data, and so on. So you need more than just the classical development, testing, DevOps, infrastructure, security, and so on team. There are a lot of services. I remember that I think in 2020, I was talking about Azure and computation services on AWS and on Azure, and they reach each cloud vendor to around between 70 and 100 options. We are in a similar situation we are now with AI. There are so many flavors and so many services that before building a solution, you need to understand exactly what is the problem that you want to solve and what is the AI service available on the market that best fits your needs. It's very important to know all the services that are available and which one you should use, because maybe you don't need Azure ML. Maybe you just need speech icons, speech, or bot service to create bot and to connect to different channels and so on, or maybe some translator capabilities and many more. So we saw that AI ecosystem is huge. But what are the core services that we need to consider? We need to take into account. I would say that there are 5 building blocks when we're talking about Azure, especially, and we're talking now in the most classical solutions that we can think about. We are talking about Azure AI services that are for big data. We are talking about Azure Functions and Azure Services web jobs, especially the serverless approach, that are event trigger based, because many times you need to do some transformation, you need to control who access what, you want to do something more than just a small communication. Maybe there are some actions that are triggered, uploading an image, checking an image or a file, running some security checks on top of that, and so on. The third one, Azure Logic Apps, that are designed first for development model, and it's a good option for low-code solution. To tell you the truth, until now, between Azure Functions and Logic Apps, most of the teams preferred Azure Functions. Logic Apps are great, but still, if you have a technical team and you know that there will be a lot of customization. And by customization, I'm referring to .NET, to Java, to JavaScript code, basically custom code. Then many times teams would prefer Azure Function because it's more easy for them to track in time and to maintain that code. The fourth one is Power Automate, and the fifth one is the AI Builder, where more or less you have the bridge and point and click experience. Then you just spin up the service, you are doing what you want to do behind the scene, and that's all. We're happy. Now, OpenAI, Azure OpenAI is widely used. What we need when we are talking about OpenAI, what we need to consider. Azure OpenAI is great, but at the moment in time when we start to build on top of it, using an existing system, using and plugging with existing system, data, services, and other solutions, we need to consider, first of all, confidentiality. How we are storing the data, what kind of key rotation strategy we are doing, what we are doing with the data results, what kind of policy we have related to deletion of them. Yes, we are training, we are testing, and we are creating some artifacts. Do we want to keep them? For how long? And what is the level of security of them? Because even the temporary results, if somebody puts their hands on them, they can get very good insights, not only of the business, but also of the confidential data that you have. Data exfiltration is also very, very, very important. What kind of resources you are allowing the OpenAI instance that you are building to access? The full internet? You might say no. The full internal endpoints of your company? If you are a small mid company, I would say up to 500 employees, I might say yes. If you are a large corporate, let's say 100,000 employees, 500,000 employees across all the globe, maybe you have factories, you're producing, I don't know, cars, or you're in a manufacturer and retail. You're so large that you internally you need to start to limit, because you will not have access to all the URLs. You will not be able to know what is safe, what is not safe. And also, if you're growing and you're involved in a lot of M&As, merger and acquisitions, you never know exactly what new endpoints would pop up in your organization. Integrity, it is the third item that is very, very important. And you need to ensure that access control and least privilege principle are all the time considered. I'm coming back to access control because I feel personally that unfortunately in most of large organizations, least privilege principle is not considered, especially for the technical people that have full access to a lot of environments, to a lot of resources. Once they get access, nobody will take the control out if they don't leave the company. So if somebody put their hands on their systems and they have access also to an OpenAI prompt, things can go pretty interesting. Jailbreak risk detection, it's very important, especially from the prompt injection attacks that are very tricky. I think that in this part we are only at the beginning. There we have a lot of solutions. We can tackle them in many ways, but still we are only at the beginning. I expect personally in the upcoming half a year or 1 year to see more and more services that are covering this component. Availability, is also very, very important, and policies. And this can become pretty tricky because when you're building an AI solution, you say, oh, I'm building this AI solution and I will provide access to it to most of the employees or to everybody. And after that, you hook different data sources, different informations, and you need to think about, okay, who can have access from which endpoints? Do I need to disable public access? Do I need a private link? How I'm doing the data encryption? And many things like that, that many times they are forgotten because people are saying, oh, we already have a cloud solution. That's good. They don't consider what is the current state, what is the current maturity level of their cloud system. They put Azure Open AI on top of it, and they are thinking about that Open Azure AI, Azure Open AI solution that is a solution that already is solving all their problems. If, for example, like 5, 8 years ago, when people were talking about migration and migration to cloud was something, oh, you just take these machines, putting virtual machines in Azure or in EC2 machines on AWS, and we are done. Not really. All that security layer, availability layer, and so on needs to be considered, needs to be took into consideration and implemented. Okay, let's talk about landing zones. And what I will show you is just copy paste, nothing more than that, of an solution of a landing zone, a reference landing zone that Microsoft is providing. I didn't want to start from scratch. What I want to show, first of all, here is the complexity of a system that already exists. So everything that you see here, that I'm now selecting, is just a line of business application. I would say even pretty simple, not very complex. If you take a look on the AI component, the AI component in this situation, let's hope that the pen is working. It's this small part, only this one, nothing more than that. But to ensure that you have the right AI landing zone to be able to provide the services in a secure way, to be able to full control, you need on top of it around at least, I would say, 8 to 10 services for scalability, to be able to manage the data, for exposing the API and to control who has access to what, to do the cost management part, to do logging and tracking and so on. So you need to start from somewhere, but it's not only that small AI system that you are doing, because otherwise you will say, oh, I'm just using the AI services, the AI service, I plug it here and it's fine. No, it's not like that. It's not like, for example, when you add DB. When you're adding a DB on your database, I don't even say instance, a new DB type. It's something like this. You just adding, you make some hooks, and you might say that we are pretty good. For an AI solution, no, you need to consider multiple things like an Azure API management to be ensure that you are providing and you can do versioning in the right way. The API that you're exposing of that AI solution. Also, you might need a way how you expose that service to the consumer. You might not want to expose that AI service directly. And then you need an Azure web app, an Azure function, or something that would play the role of playing the role of the endpoint that is managing the request, doing behind the scene a call to the AI service, and providing the response. And also, this is very important. And why I see this component very important? Because in time, you might decide to change the AI service that you're using. In that kind of situation, like for example, as you expose an interface when you're using a database or a care solution, the same approach you need also to have when you have something like an ML or an AI component. You need to manage the identities. OpenAI by itself is not coming without any kind of management. The biggest, I would say, the tricky part here is that when you're running a pilot, a POC, people don't care about too much about security, identity access management, and they are forgetting about it because they are saying, oh, we are already using Entra ID / Azure AD, everything is fine. But from using Entra ID to doing the right management, configuration, access, and so on to that AI service, it's a long way. You need to consider everything you do. You need to implement, and you need to tackle this part also from the first sprint, not to leave it at the end. Secrets, key vaults. As for other components, you still need a key vault service to store all the sensible data that would allow you to connect to other services, to hook, to provide to users or to other systems to connect to you and so on. So things are not becoming more simple. I wouldn't say more complex, but an AI solution inside a cloud needs to be considered as an like another application that is built with all the layers, not only with AI's layer. Also, you have the private link because you want to have the connection secure. So we started from one, and at least in this example, we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. At least 10 additional services. Here is AD. Okay, let's start with an example because I really like examples. I still have around 5 minutes to go. So let's talk about app modernization for an AI in the cloud. And let's take the following case. Let's think about a traditional e-commerce platform where we already have a monolithic solution that's running on-prem. We've done some integration with Azure. We've done with success a lift and shift. Yippee! We are using VMs, maybe we are using some SQL, and we say, okay, we have a cloud native e-commerce application. Don't really, but business people don't know about this. And you want to be ready for AI. Well, the journey is not only about AI, it's also about the modernization. And you might need to consider things like breaking the monolithic solution and have a microservice approach to be able to scale in the right way at the moment in time when AI will kick it off. You need to review where you're storing the data, how you can process it to ensure that the AI solution will not kill your current solution and will be able to access the data that you have. You have the streaming pipeline, that automatically solution that would allow you to deploy easily in any kind of environment. And not the last one, you need to see how you do the integration of AI ML solution for your end customer. The challenge might be that if you're talking, or if you take a look on this approach, you might have here a cost, let's say, of 100K of step number 4. And the first 3 steps might cost the customer 400K because they are not yet in that phase, of a cloud journey where they could easily use an AI solution, but they will not understand. And convincing the customer to invest 500,000 versus 100 million is very hard. And they might go with this approach, and guess what? They might end up with a system that is not running as expected, or the outcome is slow, is bad. And there might be 2 situations. They will say, oh, we need to do a modernization, or will say, the problem is not with my system, is with the AI solution that you're using that is not fast enough or it's not responding to our challenges. So, what is the path from a monolithic solution, a microservice approach, to have a system that is ready for an AI ML integration? First of all, we need to do the we need to decompose everything from a monolithic to a microservices. We need to consider the data modernization layer to see exactly what kind of data storage we need to use to ensure that the AI solution would be able to access the data easily. We need to consider the DevOps practices to be as much as possible fully automated. You need to see how we can do the integration of AI ML, meaning Azure ML, API management, the Databricks, and basically that block that I was saying that is coming around AI. And what is the monitoring and management component that you are considering for your end-to-end solution, but also to the AI layer? Because you need traceability, you need to know exactly what is happening, and if something is not working as expected, to be able to take actions. So in the end, you need to do and you need to go on the cloud modernization path before going on the AI one. Okay, before closing, what are the steps that needs to be done and that we've talked until now? We are talking about cloud native architecture. Nowadays, most of the cases is platform as a service, software as a service, and everything that is related to containerization. The second one, serverless computing, especially for jobs or actions that are triggered by the AI layer. And you need to have the full data modernization story already covered, especially when you're talking about large amount of data. One, let's say 500 terabytes of data or 1 petabyte of data. You need to know exactly how you would manage them, how you can expose them. Then we have the DevOps and MLOps. We have the advanced analytics and real-time processing and AI and ML services. And again, security, compliancy, and how you do the monitoring and the management part. Now, what are my final thoughts? Well, to tell the truth, I think that to be able to use an AI solution, first of all, you need to do optimization of your cloud application. And you need to ensure that you're implementing specific practices and you embrace all that cloud modern design that exists on the market to be ready for AI. In one word, I would say doing the step from infrastructure as a service to a more platform software platform service or functional approach. And in the end, this should address all the problems that might pop up when you're building an AI solution and would enable you to have real-time analytics and also to allow the AI system and the business to take decisions based on data-driven, not based on flows that are slow and hard to manage and to run. Thank you. This was all. If you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, or you can contact me on LinkedIn, where I'm pretty active, and we can have a chat next few days or anytime. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
That was fantastic. Thanks very much, Radu. I don't think we've got any questions in the chat as such. I think everybody's just enthralled. Really good presentation. It kind of helps kind of break down that, how do we work with AI. So yeah, thanks for kind of taking us through that, Radu. Really appreciate it. If there are any questions, feel free, like Radu says, drop them in the chat or reach out after the event. But I think for now, if everybody can show your appreciation and either come off mute and give Radu a round of applause or use the little react buttons as we have found. There we go. The day of the remote worker, eh? No, really appreciate that. Thanks so much, Radu, for joining us. And obviously, feel free to stick around now. We'll jump straight on over to Carlos's talk, but then don't forget we've got the quiz afterwards. So, bit of fun. Really good chance to win something tonight as well. So, yeah, thank you, Radu. On that note, Carlos, we'll hand straight on over to you, sir.
Yeah, so pressure. Okay.
Got you.
I
Looking
activate
good.
the spotlight. Everybody see me in all the screen, right? Okay.
Perfect.
Well, let's talk about this magic. And many of you, I know I had that question. In a world where there are more cloud environment that we can count, how can we effectively manage, administrate, and secure all my cloud environment? Stay around. I will give you that answer. First, I introduce me. As you can hear my accent, I'm from Panama. I am Venezuelan. I'm Panamanian. I live right now in Panama. So that's why my exotic accent. I run a community. I'm part of a community here in Panama as a leader. Comunidad Doyos about cybersecurity and cloud environment, even AI. And I have a few certifications, some fundamentals, intermediate, expert in Microsoft, also NCT and Terraform certificate, and also another award from the Microsoft community. And recently, I received the Microsoft MVP. So, yeah, that is me. And why I introduce myself as a Carlos Solis Salazar? Because if you're looking for in Bing or Google, Carlos Solis is a fictional character from a TV show. It's a little bit older that TV show, but if you're looking for Carlos Solis, you won't find that guy. And I am not me. So please looking for Carlos Solis Salazar. So a little bit about what are we will be talking about. We talking about why use Azure Arc and what is Azure Arc, of course, and how manage and security benefits about it. A little bit when to use Azure Arc. I will do a small demonstration and the end some final thoughts. Well, first, it was on-premise data center. Everything was pretty good. And then appears public cloud. There are more clouds, but with the when appears the public cloud, we start the war of on-premise and cloud. And you have people who say the cloud is the best because low hardware cost, backup, etc. On-premise the best because of data ownership and etc. 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 So instead of think if it's cloud or on-premise, I will like you offer an option. Take the best of both worlds. In hybrid cloud scenario, we have when we use it, when we have a dynamically and frequently workload changing, like it's coming Black Friday, so we need more resource, or it's a small season, so we need a fewer resource. We can help make that escalation with a cloud environment, and even when we have our main data center on premise. For big data processing, there is a lot of processing we need with data right now, and AI model, we saw we can use our on-premise data using those models in the cloud. Um, when you move, you need more space, additional space for your user. You can use the hybrid environment. If you need a short-term process capacity, I don't know, train a model. Maybe I am saying something crazy, but you need to train a model. You train it in the cloud and bring it back. I don't know if it's possible, but you need a lot of capacity, processing capacity for that option. If for flexibility for the future, you need, like we were talking, more resource in a moment, less in other, and the best is you can take the best of both worlds. Um, some user case is pretty related with the previous slides. Digital transformation. I know here in Latin America, a lot of organizations go to the cloud and use a cloud resource in the moment that the pandemic came, because help really fast adoption the digital transformation. For disaster recovery scenario, you can have your main data center on premise, but you have a cheaper option of disaster recovery, and that option is the cloud. For development and testing, you have your main system on premise, but you need make a proof of concept, make a test. You can deploy those resources in the cloud almost immediately. As we talk, one use case, data processing, we can help you with that. And if you, as we saw, part of the benefit when your organization is highly changeable workload, and of course when you want to explore new technologies and cloud provider, these are most of the use case. Benefits really fast, flex and security, the hybrid environment, cost effective because you will pay, you will have a capital expensive on your premise resource, and pay as you go on the cloud resources. Security, most of the security providers, most of the cloud service providers have a high standard of security. That is a good part. We don't have to be worried about it. In risk management, in those resources that we have in the cloud, you will have a transference of the risk to those providers in those in determined resources. As we said, scalability and agility, you will have it when you have this hybrid benefit, and compliance. Compliance. In the case of the cloud service provider, most of them comply with ISO 2000, 27001, HIPAA, GDPR. So you can transfer that compliance resource to the cloud. One reality of hybrid environment, you will have network issues. That's why you need redundancy on your internet connections, because all your work will be around the communication with those resources. Of course, one risk is infrastructure compatibility. Sometimes we have resources that are not compatible with the clouds, and of course, when you have system legacies like Windows 2008 or 2003, or even I saw a server 2000 in production. That's incompatibility. You will have it when you have legacy environment. One risk is the reliability of the data and your system. Of course, data handling, you will have, if you're using software as a service, for example, you will have a problem that you don't know where is the data, and you have to know those risks and accept it or manage it in other way. Can be complex, the access management, even when you are growing up. in your environment will be more complex. That activity, you will have also a skill gap because you have an engineer who knows all about the on-premise environment, and now that person has to learn how to work in Azure, for example, make the work a little bit complex. And of course, the private cloud maintenance, that is our own on-premise environment, it requires a lot of investment. But I have cloud on one side, I have on-premise in the other one. So that's Azure Arc is come to the rescue. It will help administrate from one screen all our environments, all on-premise environment, or even all other cloud providers. Uh, Azure Arc is a resource manager. You will see it in your Azure portal as a resource manager, and you can first administrate your servers, your database, your Kubernetes cluster, and that allow you, in even you can administrate VMware at the level of the VMware vSphere or Hyper-V. You can administrate that server. That will allow you even deploy resources that are only for cloud. You can deploy those resources in your on-premise environment, like a machine learning studio from Azure. You can deploy it on your premise environment, app service, function app, logic apps, and other resources. And also you can administrate and manage resources in other clouds like AWS and Google Cloud. You can administrate those resources and also deploy Azure resource in those cloud environment. And as we said previously, we can administrate servers, SQL, and Kubernetes environment. So we can administrate all those resources and deploy Azure resource in those environments. And also, this is kind of the look like you will see those on-premise environment will be administrated in Azure. And as we say, we can deploy data service, app service, and even machine learning service on your on-premise environment. And you will manage those resources. You will manage your on-premise resource besides your Azure resource that you already have. And another component, you can apply to your on-premise resource Azure policies, tags for governance and management, workbook, Defender for cloud for their server. You can implement Defender for cloud for in on-premise servers, monitoring, even log analytics in a central way. When you have the log analytics, you can send those logs to Sentinel or other CM of your preference. So, couple of benefits that we already we see in the architecture. You can have a consistent inventory management and government of your servers and resource across all the environment. I'm talking about you can know from the Azure portal which resource you have in AWS, which resource you have in the data center in Panama, and which resource you have in data center in England. You can have it and know all the inventory of your resources. You can also administrate your servers and resources with Azure VM extension. You can install an extension on that server and you can manage different capacity like backups or even like the update of the resources. And you can manage and control your Kubernetes cluster. Even you can have your on-premise servers part of the Kubernetes cluster in your Azure environment, or you can have different Kubernetes or different Kubernetes server part of the same cluster in multi-cloud and even in the on-premise environment. As I as I said previously, we can integrate threat protection, monitoring, secret change tracking, extensibility, patching, and even auto-manage of the resource. And from the point of view of security, we can implement all the resources, security and management that we already have in Azure, implemented in our Azure resource. We can implement it in our on-premise environment. And as I said, we can do it from all that administration and interaction. We can do it in the through the Azure portal, but also we can do it through Azure CLI, through PowerShell, and even Azure REST API. We can administer and manage those resources. And this is kind of the structure. We have our on-premise service that will be managed in the Azure. We have some different vSphere servers. We have Azure Stack, AWS, Google Cloud Platform, and we have the administration in the same web page. So let's see. Okay. Okay, I had a. Okay. So we have our portal, Azure portal. We can connect to the Azure Arc service looking for the search bar. And I already joined some servers for demo purpose. We have a Windows server, but also you can join a Linux server. And right now it's offline, but doesn't matter. So things that we can do in our server, we can connect to the server through SSH. If we already installed the extension, we can implement a Defender for server, of Defender for cloud for server. We can implement in our resource. And an interesting thing is when you add on-premise server, you will have at the beginning the recommendation of Defender for cloud, at least for the free version of Defender for cloud. So we have some recommendation for our server that we can take attention, pay attention, and take action for them. We can implement extension like we implement in any other server. For example, I install the Windows patch and the Azure monitor of the server. And also we can administrate the server through the Windows Admin Center. But for example, we can implement the Azure policies to the server. For example, I implement the auditory of ISO 27001 and see what is the stage of compliance of my server on premise. We can manage configuration from the server. Also, we can run commands from the Azure to the server. If we have an SQL server, we will be able to manage the licensing of the server and even manage the update of the SQL and also make backup of that database in Azure. And we can manage the updates, can be through the Azure Arc portal, or even we can manage the update through the Update Manager portal, Azure Update Manager portal, and you can manage all the update of all your servers on-premise and other clouds from in the same site. We have inventory and change tracking now that is administrated through Azure Policy, and if we have the logs active, we can just do a search of the logs of the server in our log analytics and find some results. In the case of Kubernetes, we need create a cluster or at least one server in Kubernetes, and this is, for example, the namespace that I already have in that server. So I can create others app service, and I will see it inside this namespace. And also, for example, I have the workload that I have it, the workload of the server. Well, right now I don't see it. Here, there is. I have the different workloads that I have in the server. Most of them are the system and the Azure Arc, but you can connect an app service from here, and you will see it here. And this is the service that we have, ingress and egress service that we have right now. And also the storage, well, right now I don't have any storage, and the configuration that I have in the environment. I can add configuration, manage configuration, add this cluster to an Azure cluster. I have multiple options. There is a documentation related to that. I will share with you in the chat. Let me put in the chat while we are talking. This is the documentation to connect your Kubernetes cluster environment. Even for testing purpose, you can use micro-k8.io. It's pretty straightforward, the configuration of this cluster. You can do it for your testing purpose. In fact, I saw in a documentation that somebody made I forgot the name of the resort. A small server as a Kubernetes. That is it's good for testing purpose. So here in documentation, you will see what you require in the extension that you need to install. This is in your Linux Kubernetes server. You require any of these options of Kubernetes. The provider you require, the resource group, and also this is the command to join your current Kubernetes cluster in on-premise in Azure. And this is more configuration. You can see it even in this part of the documentation said what you need to create a Kubernetes in any of these kind. So some final thoughts. Explore Azure Arc in your environment. Most of the configuration are free. The monitoring, inventory, tagging are free. You don't need to pay any of that in your environment. If you activate the log analytics, you will pay for the log analytics for a server is around $2 per month, depending of the data. So it's not have too high cost. At least the configuration, the initial configuration and testing. Review the documentation. One thing that Microsoft have is that they have a lot of documentation. That is good. That is bad, depending of the situation. But review the documentation and make use the tutorial that they already have in the documentation. And so, well, yeah, that is all that I had to share with you. And well, you can find me in LinkedIn, most active in LinkedIn, but in the other social network, you can find me as Soy Solis Carlos. And even if you want to learn who are in process to become an Azure cloud architect, we can schedule a mentoring session and help you in that process.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Carlos. Brilliant session. And yeah, I think Azure Arc, from my perspective, is one of those technologies. It's like a gateway drug to Azure, right? To cloudify the rest of your estate. So I think the one thing I say is proceed with caution in terms of how much you're going to spend, because obviously to push all the configuration.
Don't activate the extended support update because you will die in your subscription.
Yeah. You can certainly rack up the bills quite quickly. But no, it's great technology, and I think it's just about bringing up all those cloud bits into your on-prem world. So yeah, that single pane of glass is truly a thing. But no, perfect. So well, look, everybody, if you want to show your appreciation for Carlos, thank you, sir, so much for your time this evening. Really is appreciated. There we go. And without further ado, and feel free, Carlos, to join this quiz as well. I think what we will do is just get straight on with the quiz. So let me share my screen. One second.
They are digital products, so we don't have to pay a courier to send me the gift.
Say again, sorry, Carlos.
No, it's our digital products. They are the people who win the quiz, so we don't have to pay the UPS to send it.
No, there. So here we go. I'll tell you what we've got now. Let me get my screen shared, which is there. I'm going to click on this button to play. Everybody wants to join. Whilst we're waiting for people to join, either scan that QR code or browse to that URL and type that 7115 quiz in. Hopefully you should see your name appear on here. I haven't got multiple monitors, so it's always difficult, but I've got let me just paste the names into Notepad, I think. So I think what we'll do, so depending on how many people we get on, we will have an Amazon £25 Amazon voucher for first and second place. And then they're the two titles. So we've got Building Secure Automotive IoT Applications, and we've also got Accelerating IoT Development with ChatGPT. So I think what we'll do is we'll put the vouchers. So first, second place will get £25 voucher. And then third and fourth place will get these ebooks. So they are ebooks from Packet. Third, I can't type. Third, fourth. So yeah, got a really good chance to win a prize tonight with a number of people in attendance. So yeah, 4 prizes. Get ready to give me if you win or you get, you're in first, second, third, or fourth place. Drop me your email in the chat or send it to me on LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever if we are connected on them. Just acts as a prompt. I can send it off in the morning and get you those things sent out. So how are we doing? How is everybody getting on? Is everybody able to join okay? Any problems? We've got 8 players, 9 players. Anybody struggling to get on? I'll wait a few more moments. If not, we can make a start. I'll give it 10 more seconds. I'll just say, whilst we're waiting to start the quiz, our in-house quiz master, Matthew, like I said earlier, he's currently sunning himself at work in Seattle at the mothership. So he's not been able to join us this week. So this quiz has been made by yours truly. So it's going to be quite a simple, straightforward quiz. So fastest finger, remember that. It's a bit like Kahoot. The quicker you answer the questions, the better your points are. And on that note, it looks like we're all ready. Last call for anybody struggling to get on. How many people have we got there? We should have one. Is there somebody struggling to get on, or somebody just not jumping on? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Oh, did somebody put their hand up then? Who's that there? Chuba, are you struggling to get on? Can you get on okay? Come off mute if you need to speak. We can hang fire for you, of course we can. If you're struggling, try, I don't know if you're on a PC or if you've got a mobile device, but I tend to join through Safari on an iPhone and it tends to work really well.
Yeah, Chuba is writing right now. He's typing. He's getting an error.
Oh, really? Okay.
I will share with him the link.
Brilliant. Thanks, Carlos. The host will start. Yeah, that's right. So when we click start at Abdella, unfortunately, Chuba, sometimes we've had one or two browsers, Alan will testify, where it's caused a little bit of a problem. Give that a go. Have you managed to get on? I think we'll have to make a start, otherwise I think it'll time everybody else out on this, if I remember rightly from what Matt told me. Ah, there we go. Somebody's joined. Who was that? Sacre bleu, indeed. Was that you, Trevor, or was that somebody else? See, look, it's always easier with two of us because one of us can man the chat and the other one. It is. You're on. Good. Right. I'll take that as golden. So I'm going to start the quiz. There's 10 people. Good luck. First question. Oh, I'll have to read them out. What's the primary purpose of the OpenAI service on Azure? Yellow, to provide blockchain services for cryptocurrency. Blue, to facilitate quantum computing research for scientific teams. Red, to offer AI power and analytics for business intelligence. Or green, to provide access. There we go. Can't read them out quick enough for you. Apologies, doesn't look like it likes the taxi, and you Matt should have done this quiz. Correct answer is A. Next question. What's the primary purpose of Azure Arc? The answers are too long. I'm going to put this as I'll let you read what you can and you make out. Remember, fastest finger first. It's a bit of fun as well. Hopefully we'll get some more. There we go. There we go. Microsoft announced the availability of the OM Preview and OM Mini models on Azure OpenAI. What are these models specifically designed to tackle? That's good. Yeah, mostly got that problem solving and reasoning. Next up then, which Azure service would you leverage to provide rapid migration from a VMware environment into Azure? Would it be AVS, AVD, ACI, or Image Gallery? Yeah, split the pack, that one. AVS, Azure VMware Services, absolutely. Next up, what does the principle of fairness in ethical AI typically concern? Interesting one. Most of you have answered this, so yeah, everyone got that right there. The avoidance of bias in AI decision making. Next question, what would you purchase in Azure to pay less for a virtual machine? A revised instance, an M series VM, a reserved instance, or Azure cost reduction?
Shut down the VM.
Say again.
Shut down the VM.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you were saying then.
Sorry, shut down the VM.
Yes, shut down. Sorry, you're right. 100%. Don't run it in the first place. Good answer. Should have put that one. Reserved instance. Mainly got that right. Right, what service can you use in Azure to set up alerts based on metrics and logs? Azure Functions, Microsoft Flow, Azure Monitor, or Azure Service Health? There we go again. Most of you got that one right. Azure Monitor, indeed. Next up, what does Azure Arc for SQL Server enable? Apologies for that. Enabling Azure SQL databases to be deployed on-premise only. You can read the other three. There we go. Yeah, majority got that one right as well. Next up. As of 2023, which new AI-powered feature did Microsoft announce for its Bing search engine? Is that real-time language translation, integration with VR technology, an improved version of Microsoft Clippy, or integration with OpenAI's ChatGPT? There we go. Not fooling many of you. This one, I think it'll come down to the fastest finger. What does prompt engineering primarily pertain to in the context of AI? Note to self, make sure the answers are less wordy. Majority got that one right as well. So FYI, Matt put a function into this quiz engine that you can just type a topic and it creates a question with some answers for you. So I'll have a chat. We'll see if we can make the answers less wordy. What is Azure DevOps used for in Microsoft Azure? Nearly all answered there. Yes, all got that one right as well. Software development collaboration. Forget what number we're on now. Right then, which Azure service provides scalable distributed pub sub messaging? Is it blob storage, service bus, virtual machines, or firewall? Yeah, too easy, too easy. Which feature in Azure Web Apps allows developers to deploy their web app into a staging environment before making it live? Is it CDN? Is it App Insights? Is it Virtual Network? Or is it deployment slots? Too easy, caught one of you out, but yeah, deployment slots it is. Okay, another wordy answer. You'll have to just do your best on this one. What's the primary purpose of Azure Migrates? Yeah, I think you probably just about make the answer out with those missing words. Yeah, got half of you. Well, the answer is B. Next up, which Azure Cognitive Service is used primarily for translating text between multiple languages? Yeah, interesting one. This one probably going to maybe split people. We'll see, but there's a couple of close answers there, but there's only one right answer. Yeah, I thought it might split people. Translate the text API. I think we might be nearing the end. Where are we? There we go. Okay, so congratulations to Simon, Sean. You're very close at the top there. You both won a £25 Amazon voucher, and Dita and Skynet, guys, you'll have to tell me in the chat your email address is. I'm not sure who Skynet is, so let me know in the chat. Let me just take a quick snip of that so I've got it. Yeah, if you can all let me know your email addresses, just put it next to your name in a chat and just remind me what place you are. I'm taking a snippet of this now so I can remind myself, of course, but let me know in the chat. That would be fab. There we go. I've got that. Let me swing back to stop sharing this screen. Alan, it's you. Is it Skynet? Well done. So congrats to our winners there. Yeah, drop me, no problem. Dita got yours. Simon, perfect, got yours. Alan got yours. Who am I missing? I'm missing Sean. Sean, drop me a message or something. Just let me know your email. I'll get that sorted for you. Brilliant. So let's wrap this month's session up then. Let me jump straight back to my slide deck. Yeah, perfect, Sean. That's great. I'll pick that up. So I'll get those prizes. Congrats to all the winners there. Look out in your email inbox and check your junk. Normally, so I use one of our sponsors to send the Amazon vouchers. So normally takes a couple of days to send, and keep an eye on your junk email. Same for the packet ebooks. So I'll get those sent out as well. So keep an eye out for those over the next few days. Okay, we'll wrap this one up. So first, thank you everybody for joining. Really appreciate it. Thank you for giving up your evening to come and have a little bit of a listen to some Azure goodness. Huge thanks to both our speakers tonight, Radu, Carlos, giving up your time, coming on and imparting some knowledge. Really is appreciated. Thank you so much for coming, and no doubt we'll see you again. I'm going to probably be putting the Sessionize link on out to publish again. So if you've got any more talks, Carlos, I think Radu's jumped off, but feel free, and anybody feel free. If you've got a talk, feel free to actually, if you go to the at Welsh Azure on Twitter or X, a pinned tweet is the Sessionize page, the call for speakers. So if you know anybody or you've seen a good talk you think would be great for the group, please help us spread the word and send that around. That'd be great. But for now, that's the end of the event. Congrats to our winners. Thank you again to our speakers, and thanks for everyone for joining. The next event, save the date, is on the 16th of October. Same time, the usual time, probably very similar format. And if you could give us a little bit of feedback and scan that QR code or browse to that URL, that would be fantastic. And Abdallah, were you number 5? Were you? Well, no, Paul C. I don't know Paul C. But yeah, sorry, last winner. We had 4 prizes. I know it shows top 5. Maybe I'll have to sort that out. Maybe I'll have to speak nicely to the sponsors. But there we go. Thank you all. Thanks for joining. Be pleased to see you again next month. But for now, have a nice rest of your evening. Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye.